At 8:14 a.m., Dr. Kenji Tanaka was deep inside his Tokyo laboratory. As Japan's foremost nuclear physicist, he led the nation's atomic program, codenamed Project Fugu. For years, he had wrestled with the monumental challenge of uranium enrichment. The problem, he believed, was fundamentally unsolvable, not just for Japan, but for any nation engaged in a global war. His calculations were precise and, in his mind, definitive. To construct an atomic device required roughly 50 kilograms of uranium-235. Yet, this fissile isotope constituted a mere 0.7% of raw uranium ore. Isolating it from the inert uranium-238 was a task of unimaginable technical difficulty. His team's thermal diffusion system produced only grams of material when they needed kilos. At their current pace, it would take a lifetime. This was the core reason he had confidently informed the military high command that an atomic bomb would not appear in this conflict. The industrial undertaking was too vast. He assumed America, despite its resources, faced the same immutable physical barriers. He was about to be proven, tragically, horrifyingly wrong. At that precise moment, high above the city of Hiroshima, the Enola Gay was on its final approach. In its bomb bay was Little Boy, a uranium-based fission weapon containing over 60 kilograms of uranium, enriched to an astonishing 80% purity. This single weapon held more processed uranium than Dr. Tanaka's entire team thought possible for the entire world to produce. The Americans had not just solved the problem. They had industrialized the solution. They had turned a scientific dream into an industrial nightmare. In secret sites like Oak Ridge, Tennessee, the Americans had constructed a hidden city. Its electromagnetic separation plant, Y-12, sprawled across hundreds of acres, housing over 1,000 calotrons. The scale was incomprehensible. To build the massive electromagnets, the project borrowed thousands of tons of silver from the U.S. Treasury. This single facility employed tens of thousands of people, a secret metropolis dedicated to a single, terrifying purpose. While Tanaka worked with a small team in a Tokyo lab, the Americans had mobilized a hidden army. At 8:15 a.m. and 17 seconds, the world changed. A fireball hotter than the sun ignited over Hiroshima, instantly vaporizing everything at its center. The blast wave radiated outward at supersonic speeds. In the first moments, tens of thousands perished. In Tokyo, the initial reports were fragmented and confusing. Communications from Hiroshima had ceased abruptly. Witnesses described a single, colossal flash and a strange, giant cloud. For Dr. Tanaka, hearing these accounts, a cold dread began to form. The descriptions aligned perfectly with the theoretical predictions for an atomic detonation, but his mind rebelled. It was impossible. His own science declared it so. How could they have done it? Summoned to a military command bunker, he was confronted by anxious generals, demanding answers. Was this an atomic bomb? Could the Americans have achieved the impossible? Trained to follow evidence, Tanaka gave them the grim truth. The reports were consistent with a nuclear explosion. But then, he made his second fatal error. He advised that if the Americans had managed to build one device, it must have consumed their entire stockpile of fissile material. A second bomb would be many months, if not years, away. Japan, he thought, had time. He was wrong again. Just 3 days later, on August 9th, a second bomb, Fat Man, detonated over Nagasaki. This weapon was different. It was a plutonium bomb. This meant the American effort was not a single, desperate gamble. They had pursued multiple paths to the bomb simultaneously, both uranium and plutonium. They had not just one secret city, but several. The Hanford site in Washington was a dedicated plutonium production complex, another colossal industrial undertaking. The spectroscopic analysis of the Nagasaki debris confirmed the use of plutonium-239. The reality was now undeniable. In the war's aftermath, Dr. Tanaka met with American scientists. They toured his modest laboratory, and he saw the quiet pity in their eyes. His entire operation was smaller than a single building at their Oak Ridge facility. One American colleague noted, sympathetically, that Tanaka's thermal diffusion method was theoretically sound. The Americans had used it as well. The science was correct. The gap was not in knowledge, but in the power to act on an immense scale. Dr. Tanaka spent his remaining years reflecting on this profound miscalculation. He had not underestimated American physics, but their boundless industrial capacity and organizational will. He had assumed the constraints of his own reality applied to his adversary. He failed to grasp that the United States could and would overwhelm a theoretical problem with sheer, brute force application of resources. They built secret cities, employed hundreds of thousands, and spent the equivalent of tens of billions of dollars on a weapon that might not have worked. The lesson of August 1945 was stark. In the race for ultimate weapons, theoretical elegance is no match for overwhelming industrial might. The Americans didn't just outthink the Japanese program. They outbuilt it on a scale that defied belief. That failure of imagination to conceive of such a massive undertaking sealed the fate of Japan's atomic ambitions and demonstrated a new, terrifying reality of modern warfare. If you found this story of miscalculation and its consequences compelling, please support our channel by hitting the like button and make sure to subscribe to Winds of Thought for more deep dives into history's pivotal moments.